In the mid-1990s, superhero games were starting to gain traction, but few captured the essence of the source material as well as the adventures of Batman and Robin for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Released in 1994, this game was a side-scrolling action platformer that became an instant classic for fans of both Batman and video games. Based on the highly successful animated series, Batman the Animated Series, the game brought Gotham's Dark Knight to life in 16-bit glory, complete with stunning visuals, dynamic gameplay, and a moody atmosphere that did justice to its comic book origins. This game wasn't just a tie-in to a popular TV show, it was a carefully crafted title that embraced the unique storytelling and visual style that made the animated series a fan favorite. Developed by Konami, one of the most respected game studios of the time, the adventures of Batman and Robin became a staple of superhero video games and left a lasting impression on both comic book fans and gamers alike. The development was handled by Konami, a studio known for creating some of the most iconic video games of the era, including Castlevania and Contra. They were determined to do justice to the acclaimed Batman the Animated Series, which had been praised for its mature storytelling, unique art style, and noir-inspired atmosphere. Konami knew that they had to capture the same tone, mood, and visual fidelity that made the show so beloved, and they didn't want to disappoint Batman fans. To ensure the game would reflect the spirit of the show, the development team focused heavily on the visuals, opting for hand-drawn sprite animations that mirrored the fluidity and style of the animated series. The character designs, environments, and cutscenes were meticulously crafted to match the aesthetics of the show, with an emphasis on darker colors, dramatic lighting, and detailed backgrounds. The music, composed by Michiru Yamane, was equally crucial, drawing inspiration from the show's haunting score to create a soundscape that set the mood for Gotham's crime-ridden streets. The Super Nintendo version of The Adventures of Batman and Robin was distinct from the Sega Genesis version, which was developed by a different team and took on a completely different gameplay style. While the Genesis version leaned more towards fast-paced action, Konami's Nintendo version emphasized a mix of platforming, exploration, and puzzle solving, giving players a more methodical experience that stayed true to the detective nature of Batman. The plot is a classic Batman narrative, pulling from several episodes of Batman the Animated Series. The game is divided into stages, each focusing on one of Batman's most notorious foes, making it feel like a series of interconnected episodes. The overarching story involves Batman and Robin trying to thwart a massive plot involving several villains who are up to no good in Gotham City. Players take on the role of Batman, with occasional appearances by Robin as they face off against iconic villains like the Joker, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, and the Penguin. Each level is themed around a specific villain, with the environments, enemies, and obstacles reflecting their unique characteristics and schemes. From Joker's twisted carnival rides to Poison Ivy's dangerous botanical gardens, the levels are visually distinct and capture the atmosphere of Gotham's dark underbelly. While the game doesn't dive too deeply into a complex story, the episodic nature and the memorable boss encounters give players a sense of progression, as Batman works his way through Gotham's rogue gallery, ultimately leading to a dramatic showdown with the Joker. The narrative is simple but effective, providing enough context to justify the action while staying true to the tone of the animated series. The Adventures of Batman and Robin is primarily a side-scrolling action platformer, but it sets itself apart with its emphasis on varied gameplay, including puzzle solving and exploration. The game's core mechanics revolve around navigating platforms and taking down enemies using Batman's martial arts skills and an array of gadgets. Batman can punch, kick, and use his iconic batarang to stun enemies from a distance. The combat is straightforward but satisfying, with smooth animations that make every attack feel impactful. The game's levels are filled with platforming challenges, including traps, obstacles, and environmental hazards. Precision jumping is essential, and Batman must utilize his grappling hook to swing across gaps and reach higher platforms, making full use of his gadgetry to navigate Gotham's dangerous terrain. True to Batman's detective roots, the game features a variety of puzzles that require players to think strategically. These puzzles often involve switches, hidden pathways, and figuring out the best way to use Batman's gadgets. The Batcave, which serves as a hub area, allows players to select different missions and experiment with different tools. Exploration is encouraged, with hidden areas, secrets, and bonus items scattered throughout the levels. Finding these secrets often requires players to pay close attention to the environment and use their gadgets creatively. One of the game's highlights is its boss battles, which are challenging and require players to learn attack patterns and adapt quickly. Each boss battle is unique, reflecting the personality and tactics of the villain. For example, the Joker's stage is filled with deadly traps and unpredictable hazards, while the Penguin's level features mechanical birds and icy terrain. These encounters are more than just button mashing. They demand observation, quick reflexes, and a tactical approach to emerge victorious. The game's visual style and level design draw directly from Batman the Animated Series, which was known for its unique Dark Deco art style, a mix of film noir aesthetics and modern animation. This attention to detail made the game feel like a direct extension of the show. While the Nintendo version focused on platforming and puzzles, the Sega Genesis version was a pure action game with a run-and-gun approach, almost feeling like a different title altogether. This divergence in gameplay style led to heated debates among fans as to which version was superior. The hand-drawn animations for the Nintendo version were praised for their fluidity and attention to detail. The way Batman's cape flows as he jumps, or his silhouette against Gotham's night sky, demonstrated Konami's commitment to creating a visually engaging experience that stayed true to the animated series. The game is known for its difficulty, particularly in the later stages. The precise platforming, enemy patterns, and challenging boss fights made it a tough game to complete, earning it a reputation as one of the more difficult superhero games of the era. This challenge, however, also made the game feel rewarding for those who managed to master it. Unlike the Genesis version, the Nintendo version features Robin primarily in a supporting role. While players don't get to control Robin directly, he assists Batman in specific cutscenes and moments, emphasizing the partnership without taking the focus away from Batman as the main hero. The game is filled with hidden Easter eggs that nod to the animated series and comic book lore. Some of these include cameos from lesser-known characters and hidden areas that pay homage to specific episodes of the TV show. Fans of the series appreciated these small touches that added to the game's authenticity. The game features multiple endings, depending on how well the player performs throughout the game. Completing the game with 100% accuracy and finding all the hidden items rewards players with a special ending, adding to the replayability of the title. Creating a game that captured the essence of Batman the Animated Series on the Super Nintendo was no small feat. The limited hardware of the 16-bit console meant that the development team had to be creative in how they used memory and sprite work to keep the visuals consistent with the show. The team used advanced programming techniques to create the detailed backgrounds and animations that made the game stand out. The Moody soundtrack was another triumph. The console's sound chip was known for its ability to deliver high-quality music, and composer Michiru Yamane took full advantage of this, crafting tunes that were atmospheric, haunting, and faithful to the dark tone of Gotham City. The sound effects, from Batman's punches to the villainous laughs of the Joker, were also carefully chosen to immerse players in Batman's world. The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System remains a standout title in the world of superhero video games. It successfully combined elements of action, platforming, and puzzle solving, while staying true to the source material's tone and style. For fans of the animated series, it was a dream come true, a chance to step into the boots of the Dark Knight and experience Gotham's dangers firsthand. For gamers, it was a challenging and visually stunning platformer that pushed the limits of what the console could achieve. It's a classic game that continues to be celebrated for its dedication to the Batman mythos and its superb gameplay design, making it a must-play for any fan of the Caped Crusader.